Welcome back, friends. Today's a difficult topic. Something's not quite right. You may be thinking, oh, Dad looks like he's lost a little weight. Something's not quite right with Mom. So this is a video about what happens when you get the news. So you hear the difficult news. Dad has Parkinson's. Mom has Alzheimer's. Mom has lung cancer. You know, you get the hard news. And maybe you were with your parent when they received the news, like you've been going to the doctor's appointments with them, and you get the news with them, you know, with the doctor. Or maybe you had no idea they were starting to see a doctor for something, and they call you or tell you the next time that you're over for a Sunday dinner. Regardless of how you hear the diagnosis, it can make you feel like your world is turned upside down, without a doubt. And that is normal, because I have felt that way multiple times. Over the years, I've learned a few things, what to do when you get hard news about a parent. Number one, you hear the diagnosis. If you weren't with your loved one when the diagnosis was given, ask your parent if you can attend the next doctor's appointment with them. And then when you're there, ask the doctor specifically for the diagnosis, to make sure that you understand it, make sure your loved one understands it. And have them explain, what does this mean? That's very key. Ask, you know, is this illness treatable? Is this illness curable? Is it going to be a chronic condition, something that they're going to have to deal with on a daily basis? And something that I did not ask in regarding my dad's cancer treatment that he had last year, but something that I'm definitely going to keep in front of mind for this year is, how serious is this? Because we were kind of led to believe that things weren't, you know, oh yeah, everything is fine, and realize he had really intense radiation therapy, and it was a little more serious than we thought. So ask flat out, how serious is this? Is this just a bump in the road, or is this is going to take a while to treat and take care of? But we have a plan and we're going for it. You know, how is it? You know, what kind of what are we looking at here? Side effects. Ask the doctor about potential side effects. If their appetite is affected, what are suggestions to make sure that your parent receives enough nutrition and stays hydrated? Will this affect their sleep pattern? What are the concerning side effects? And if these things happen, do we go to the emergency room? Do we need to call your office first? You know, what is the procedure if something isn't quite right in taking the medication? If loved one is taking other medicines, whether it be prescription or over the counter, ask the doctor if this new treatment is going to interact with what they're already doing, or if what they're already doing is going to interact with the new stuff. This is where that list comes in handy, right? Yeah. So you want to show it to the doctor and make sure that there's not going to be any bad interactions. Because if so, then they can work with the other doctors to adjust a frequency of dose, or even the specific type of medicine. Recovery. Dad had chemotherapy and radiation last year for squamous cell skin cancer. The radiation was focused on his throat, because that's where the cancer was found. Radiation was extremely difficult for him. His skin got bright red and sensitive. It pretty much dried up his saliva glands. His taste buds were shot. Everything tasted like cardboard, he said. His throat was very sore and raw, so swallowing was difficult. Even water, you know, could be difficult swallowing. And he felt that way for a long, long time, months. We're in April, and he's starting to get more of an appetite and eating more, and he still has some difficulty, but things are improving, which is good. It just takes time. So you might want to check with the doctor. If their energy is going to be zapped, how long do you think it'll take for their energy to return? What's the time frame for expecting taste buds to go back to normal? Ask those sorts of questions. They're important to ask. Make sure you've added the new medications. You add them to that list of the medicines that they're taking. And when you add the new medicine, you want to make sure you write down not just the name of it, but why they're taking it and who is the prescribing doctor. And then, of course, the doctor's contact information, office address, phone number, email. Is there an emergency 24-hour number? Any contact information for that specialist, you want to make sure that's added to the medication list. So you have it handy. So you have it with you at all times. And then I would also take that contact information and put it in your phone so that no matter where you are, you can contact the doctor's office. Also ask if there's a patient support number that you or your parent could call if they have questions about the medications. My husband used to work for a small pharmaceutical company, and they actually had that. They had a 24-hour hotline staffed by nurses, and they would answer the questions of the patients and their loved ones, and so that they weren't rushing to the emergency room if they felt kind of off or iffy or whatever. They could call the nurse first, run it past them, get an idea of what was going on, and then make a decision of what needs to be done. So you can ask about that if there's some sort of patient support that they could call. And is your loved one going to need special equipment, even if it's temporary? And by special equipment, I mean like a walker, wheelchair, portable oxygen machine, a bath seat, a portable toilet, portable oxygen, inhalers, that sort of thing. Like I said, even if it's temporary, or the doctor says, "Oh, it might be handy to get that," then you could start looking for ways to get it. And there are resources to get it outside of just purchasing one. And what kind of support is there for caregivers and for the patient, like support groups? My parents' primary care office has social workers. The overall healthcare system that the doctor is part of has social workers on hand for each of the primary care doctors. And we were assigned one, and she'd call every few weeks to check in to see how things were going with Mom. What did we need? They gave us suggestions of places to look for in-home care for Mom. And they can also kind of give you ideas of support groups. So ask, are there support groups in person or online that you can join to get advice and to vent? Because it's very important for caregivers and for children of parents who are going through a difficult illness that you have someplace to go, that you can share your grief, that you could share your frustration, that you can share your fear, and everybody in the room understands it because they're right there with you. I have been a part of a support group for caregivers run through the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. I'm not Catholic, but anybody can go to it. And it's once a month, and I absolutely love it. And they've seen me through my mom's illness, and I know they're going to continue to support me through, our journey with Dad for the rest of the days. So don't underestimate support groups, whether online or in person. They can be quite valuable. And when family and friends, make sure you tell family and friends, with your parents' permission, about their condition. And you want to be honest about the severity of it. They've been diagnosed with this, but it's not a big deal. It's fine. We just need to do steps 1, 2, and 3, and then they're going to be okay. And then also make sure they understand if it really is serious, so that they have time to process and they can start their grieving process as well and be able to clear their mind to offer support to you. So when somebody asks you, what can I do for you? Give them specific ideas. We could use help grocery shopping, doing laundry, providing meals, rides to treatment. Don't be afraid to ask for help and take help when it is offered to you. You do not have to do everything on your own. Don't be a hero, okay? And as a side note, if you feel compelled to say to someone, "What can I do to help?" Don't ask the question unless you're able to do something to help. People tend to offer, "Oh yeah, I'll be more than happy to help you." And then you put out a request and then, there's just crickets. Nobody's there. So have a list of things that can be done on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. And so when somebody calls, you say, "Oh yeah, great. I could use some help Friday afternoon between 1 and 3. Can you take mom to her doctor's appointment? Can you take dad to his chemotherapy appointment? But I'll be able to pick him up and drive him, I'll be able to bring him home, but I just need you to drop him off." Be very specific. This is a tough topic. I'm not kidding, there's no denying that. It's hard. And it's kind of the moment where we all kind of dread, but we also anticipate. And we have to remove our own assumptions about what we think the bad news is going to be for our parents. We had no idea mom was going to have Alzheimer's. We thought for sure it'd be some type of cancer because I lost all 4 of my grandparents to cancer. So Alzheimer's was like a double gut punch. We're like, what are you talking about? So remove any assumptions of what you think might be the big news for, the big bad news for your loved one. You have no idea. You have no idea. So it's tough. We're all too familiar with these steps. But as a child, a caregiver of a loved one, please, 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 please take care of yourself. Be strong for your loved one, but find a way to vent your feelings and talk about what is happening. I talked about grief the other day. Depending on the diagnosis, you may find yourself experiencing symptoms of grief, and it's okay. For me, it helped me prepare for the end of my mom's life. It was still hard, don't get me wrong. I sobbed uncontrollably once we got home. But because I had been feeling the grief over time, it was partially healing for me. And it also allowed me to be in the final moments with mom. And I may do a video about that, being present in the final moments, if it's possible. Because it was beautiful. And I'm so glad that I could be present and I wasn't thinking about myself. It was just totally focused on her and helping her take that final step. It was beautiful. I don't regret one moment of it. And it was my sister and I and 2 of our cousins, and it was a beautiful experience. So this is hard. It's hard, but you can do it. Ask for help. Pray if you believe in God. Put one foot in front of the other and help your parent make the best decision you can with the information you have on hand at the time. All you can do is the best. Is try your best, right? That's all we can do with what we know in that moment. So trust your decisions. Okay? Well, that's it. Till next time, friends. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.